Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and this time we're going to be doing a full set of glow in the dark ombre nails. So I had her nails soaking while I was doing her toes, so all of the acrylic is soaked off, as you can see here. So I kind of just wiped it off, and then I'm just cutting down her natural nail. A lot of my girls don't like to see their natural nail underneath the acrylic, which is also what I don't like on my own nails. But we went ahead and cut them down and just shaping them up. And now I'm just using that same file to gently push back the cuticles. I couldn't find my cuticle pusher, so I'm just using the back of the nail file. And of course, I dispose of my nail files after each client. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other hand. Again, we're just trimming down the natural nails, and then we're going to push back the cuticles. And her nails were soaking for about 30 minutes while I did the gel polish on her toes. So you will see like red dust underneath my nails. No, it's not dirt, it's just dust from me removing the gel polish from her previous set and then from doing her toes. So now I'm just going in with a 180 sanding band. Again, that is a 180 sanding band, and I'm using that to remove the shine from the natural nail. As you guys know, we have to remove the shine really good around that cuticle area and just all over the nail, because if not, we will get lifting. Basically, our body just produces oils, and that's why our nails are always shiny. So with us removing that shiny layer, we'll be able to get a better adhesion between the natural nail and the acrylic. So again, we have to make sure that we remove all of the shine from the natural nail. Again, we are using a 180 sanding band. You don't want to use anything more coarse than a 180 because you will damage your client's nail. But again, we're just removing the shine, and then we're gonna move over to applying the nail tips. Alrighty y'all, so now we're gonna move on to the nail tip application. So as always, I'm using my natural nail tips, and I'm also using my KDS glue. And also remember that when you're applying nail tips, if one tip is too small and the other one's too big, always go with the bigger one and just file it down on the sides to make it fit perfectly. As you can see here, that's what I'm doing. This one was a little bit too big. You don't want to touch in the skin, but you do want to cover the whole nail. But again, always make sure that you apply the right size tips. You don't want them too small because they're gonna want to come back up, because basically if it doesn't fit, you're forcing it down, so it's gonna want to come back up and it's gonna eventually crack or even lift. So you want to make sure that they fit perfectly on their natural nail. Again, you want the nail tip to go from sidewall to sidewall, and you also do not want it touching the skin because it will cause the nail tip to break. Alrighty, so once we apply all of the nail tips, we're going to go in with a tip cutter to trim the nails down. Of course, you want to ask your client how long do they want their nails, and then you just cut them down. And then you can measure each nail as you go, especially if you're a beginner. You can ask your client, if each nail is okay. And then if one's too long, you just cut it down. But after doing it for so long, you kind of just can tell, how far up to cut or how low to cut. So you get used to it. But at the end, you will see me go back and measure the nails and then even them out. After this, we're going to go in with a nail file, and we're just going to shape them. So she says she wanted like a wide coffin. So basically it's going to be like an in-between squared and coffin, to where it's going to be really squared at the tip but a little bit narrow on the sides, just a little bit. And then I'm also going to be of course blending the tip in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meet, so when we apply the acrylic it looks a little bit natural. And of course you're not going to be able to tell with the ombre nails, but I think it's just a habit. So as always, we're filing the sides at a 45-degree angle. But since we don't want the nails to be super narrow, I'm not going to be filing as much on the sides. But then, of course, the free edge is still filing at a 90-degree angle. So, again, it's kind of like an in-between coffin and squared. Not too narrow, not too wide. And then we're going to blend the nail tip right in the middle. So, same thing as always, 45 on the sides, 90s on the free edge. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to go ahead and file the rest of the nails, or shape the rest of the nails. And we are using my 100-100 nail file. Alrighty, so I dust the nails off. So now I'm going to apply the primer. As you guys know, I use my OPI primer, and that's because I have a lot of it, but it works good for me. But if you are looking for a primer, I highly recommend that you just stick to whatever acrylic system you're using and just use their same primer. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and apply my acrylic. So for this natural color that we're going to be using on the nail tips, this is actually my OPI Truly Natural acrylic. It's just like an off-white color, and I'm just applying that on the tips. And I'm gonna go ahead and do all the tips because I just feel like it's easier to just go ahead and do the tips and then just come back and do the pink at the end. But we are gonna be using the Cover Rose or Cover Beige. It's actually the Cover Beige by Mia's Secret, and we're gonna be doing that on the back closer to the cuticle area. But again, this Truly Natural acrylic by OPI, I've had it for a while and I still had a lot of it, so I ended up just putting some of the glow in the dark powder into that acrylic. So this acrylic will glow, just the tips, not the pink, but just the tips will glow, and they'll actually glow, I think, a bluish color. But again, we're just doing the natural color on the tips, which is that off-white color. And then we're going to come back and do the back of them with the Cover Beige by Mia's Secret. And I know I seen somebody asking about it on my Facebook group, asking about the Mia's Secret cover colors, and they are a little bit hard to work with, to be honest. They are kind of sticky when you're working with them, but I honestly just make it work, because the other day I tried a different cover color and it was just really bad. So I rather just, you know, kind of work with the Mia's Secret because I know that they have a good coverage. But once we finish doing the tips, we're going to go ahead and do the Cover Pink at the back. Or sorry, not Cover Pink, but Cover Beige. Or you can use, I know they have the Cover Beige, Cover Rose, and Cover Pink. But today I'm using the Cover Beige. Alrighty, and as you can see, for the tips, we're just doing a small bead of that natural color. We're applying it on the tip, brushing it down towards the tip, and then blending it right in the middle. That way it's not a harsh line. And after that, we're going to go in with our cover color, which is the beige by Mia Secret. We apply it closer to the cuticle area. You don't want to use too much. Just grab a small bead, pat it down, clean around your cuticle area if it starts running over to the sides, and then just blend it right in the middle. As you can see, I'm just really gently brushing it in. You don't want to be too harsh because you will brush all of that powder down to the tip and it's going to take away from that ombre look. So again, just blend it down and then you can add more if you need to. But I am also going to be using a clear acrylic, which is my Mia Secret clear acrylic, and that's just to basically encapsulate both of those colors, because if you add too much pink or too much cover color, it is going to take away from that ombre again, because you don't want to drag it all the way towards the tip. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and apply a smaller bead, and as always, apply acrylic wherever you need it. Don't just apply, just to apply. Look at your nail from different angles. If you need to add a little bit more, that's fine, but don't just add just to add, because if not, you will have a lot of filing to do at the end. So work smarter and not harder. And I hate, there's people that hate when I say that, but it's true. Okay, so that one looks good. So we're going to move over to the next one. Again, we grab a small bead of our cover beige, place it closer to the cuticle area. You just gently pat it around, pushing it up close to the cuticle, and then brushing it down towards the tip. As always, you do not want to brush it all the way down towards the tip, because it's going to take away from that ombre look. You just brush it like to the middle to where it's blending both of the colors together. And then once it looks good, we're going to come back and encapsulate that with the clear. But this is still another bead of the beige, just because sometimes it still looks a little bit translucent. So if you need to go back and add a little bit more to make it look a little bit more, not intense, but like opaque, to where it's not noticeable that, it's two separate colors. You want them to blend in the middle, so you can add a little bit more. And as you can see over on the side, like on right there, it was like a little translucent still. So I had to go back and add a little bit more, just because I could see a spot. But again, you do not want to just add acrylic on the whole nail when that happens. Just add some, some acrylic wherever you need it. And as you can see here, I'm just going back to encapsulate the whole nail with the clear acrylic by Mia Secret. And as you can see, my nails underneath look horrible, but I promise you it just does from when I was removing the gel polish from her previous set. And she had, it was like a neon yellow by Madame Glam. So we're going to go ahead and finish all the nails off. Yes, this is my real speed. So I wanted to give y'all, a good look of what it's like to do it. But again, it's pretty simple. We just go through and do all the tips. Or you can do them, individually as you go. But I feel like it's faster and easier to just go ahead and do the tips first, and then come back and do the pink. And then you go back and do the clear. So the clear and the pink, you basically do, at the same time. But then the tips, I just do them all at once. And then this ring finger is just going to be a full nail of this cover beige, because I'm going to do bling on it. So it was no need for me to do the ombre on it as well. Alrighty, y'all, so as you can see, we're finishing off this ring finger, and y'all, that color just by itself is so freaking pretty. Again, this is in the color Cover Beige by Mia's Secret. As you can see, it's really smooth and it's just such a pretty color. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this off, and after this I am gonna go ahead and speed it up because I know there's people that either don't like a long video, or there's other people that don't like a really short video, so it's really hard to kind of to please everybody. So I kind of do a little bit of both, real speed and speed it up. So I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the video, and we're gonna go ahead and just, you know, do the other hand and finish this hand off. But again, it's the same steps. You do the tips with the natural off-white, which is the natural, what it says, called Truly Natural by OPI. And again, it does have some glow-in-the-dark powder in there. I literally just dumped some in there. And then we go back and do the pink and then the clear over it. So same steps over and over again. And then I also forgot to mention that I am using my Alpha brush in the number 10. And I know the other day I had somebody asking me like, why in this video you're using an 8 and then in this video you're using a 9 and a 10. Well, I have a whole bunch of different brushes, so it's literally like whichever one I pick up first, that's the one that I'm using. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. But I do have a promo code for Alpha brush, so I'll be sure to leave that link down in the description, as well as all of the materials that you need to do a full set of nails. Again, that'll be down in the description, and we're gonna go ahead and finish off this set. Alrighty, y'all, so we finished applying the acrylic. So now we're going to go back in with the same 100-100 nail file, and we're just going to reshape the nails. As you guys know, after we apply the acrylic, sometimes it kind of takes away from our shape, so we just have to go back and redefine that shape. It's not a lot of work. You literally just go back in and just gently reshape the nail. And after this, we're going to go ahead and file all of the nails. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go in with my fine drill bit, and I'm just going to file all of the nails. As always, I start around the cuticle area, working my way from the right side over to the left side and just going back and forth. Remember, it's really important to keep your drill moving at all times, because if not, if you leave it in one spot for too long, it will cause friction and it will cause your client's nail to burn. So make sure that you keep that in mind. But as always, we do the cuticle area first, and then following the rest of the nail with the belly of our drill, and then making sure that it's nice and smooth. Alrighty, so same thing as you seen. I just gently filed the underneath of the nail just because sometimes some of the acrylic might run underneath the nail. So you don't always have to file underneath the nail, just if you need to. And then you go around the cuticle area and then just file the rest of the nail. So as always, it's really important to file really good around that cuticle area because that's where your lifting will come. And honestly, I feel like most like 80 or really 90% of your lifting will come from not doing this step correctly. You might think that, oh, you're doing everything correctly, you're doing this correctly, but I promise you, if you're still getting lifting and you're doing everything right, most likely this is what you're missing. You're not filing around that cuticle area really good. You have to make sure that you seal that whole area around the cuticle area because that's where water gets in there and moisture, and that's going to cause your nail to lift. So make sure that you're spending a little bit more time on this area and being really careful not to cut your client. But again, you will need a fine drill bit, not even a safety one, because sometimes with the safety drill bits, it's pretty hard to get really close to the cuticle area. But again, you just work your way around that cuticle area, making sure that you seal it nice and neat. And the way to basically know if you sealed it really good is if you're able to see where the cuticle is, where the natural nail is, and where the acrylic is. That way you know that the acrylic is not on the skin and you're not going to get lifting. So again, it's really important that you do this step correctly. It is going to take some time for you to finally, get it packed down. But you have to make sure that you spend a little bit more time on this. I know this was probably the hardest thing for me to do, but after so much practice, I was finally able to prevent from getting lifting. Alrighty, so once we finish filing the nails, we're going to go in with a buffer and just buff all of the nails. And yes, my phone went dead, so I wasn't able to record that part. But as you guys know, we literally just buff all of the nails to get rid of any of the scratches left from our e-file. And once we do that, we're just going to wipe them off and dust them off and wipe them off. And then we're going to apply the polish. So I'm going in with the color Just My Luck by Color Club. As you guys know, this is the color that I use for my bling nails. So I'm doing that on both of the ring fingers. And once it dry, I'm going to use my Mia Secret Gel Resin. And I'm going to be applying some bling. I'm using my SS6, my SS12, and some pearls. And we're just going to fill in all of the whole nail. As you guys know, I always start at the middle of the nail, closer to the cuticle area. working my way around the perimeter of the nail, and then just filling in the nail as I go. And of course, I alternate between the two different sizes. And then after that, we just spray the nail with the Mia Secret Gel Resin Activator. And I do highly recommend the activator if you're using the gel resin by Mia Secret, just because if you don't use it, it will take a lot longer to dry. So I recommend you go ahead and just buy it when you buy the glue. That way, I just feel like they stay on better if you just spray them, because I feel like the gel resin activator just freezes the glue into place. So we're gonna go ahead and finish off this nail. We're gonna do the same thing on the other hand, and then we're gonna go ahead and apply the top coat. Alrighty, so we sprayed the nail with the activator. So now I'm going to go ahead and apply the IBD gel top coat. We're going to apply that on all the nails. And then after that, we're just going to go ahead and place the nails under the UV LED lamp for 60 seconds. And actually today I had somebody ask me, how do you know how long to cure the nails for? Well, it would just depend on what top coat you're using or what gel polish you're using, because each brand has their own, curing time. So all you have to do is either just look at the bottle, it might say it on the back, or if you go online and look at their description for the nail polish, it will tell you how long to cure. So we're gonna go ahead and finish off the other nail. Again, we're using the Mia Secret Gel Resin, the wax pencil, SS6, SS12 AB rhinestones, and we're also using some pearls. So we're gonna go ahead and finish that off and then apply a top coat on this one as well. Alrighty, y'all, so here is the final look. They turned out really pretty. They're so shiny, and that ombre is just flawless. So here is a picture of them not normally, but here's just a picture of them. And then here is how they'll look when they glow in the dark. And of course it will be brighter, but it was a lot of light in the room. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at GetNail32, and I'll see you guys next time.